The great alien council chamber was filled with noise. The room echoed with voices of different races, their strange tongues mixing together like a storm of sound. But tonight, the sound was not anger, not fear, but laughter. Cold, cruel laughter. They laughed at a myth. In the far corners of the galaxy, there were old stories passed down from world to world. Stories of a race called humans. Some said humans were monsters, others said they were saviors. Some believed they had been wiped out long ago, their cities turned to dust, their ships shattered in forgotten wars. Others whispered that they had gone into hiding, waiting in silence. But to the council, these were only tales told to frighten children. A tall alien with skin like polished stone raised his glass and sneered. Humans, myths, nothing more. If they were real, they would have been crushed under our fleets long ago. Their stories are lies, written by cowards. The others roared with laughter. Their sharp teeth glistened in the golden lights of the chamber. Their eyes glowed with arrogance. One elder, smaller but wiser, dared to speak. Yet, records from 1,000 years ago show battles no race has explained. Whole empires fell in days. Armies vanished. Some say humans fought those wars. The chamber grew quiet for a moment. But then, another voice rose, mocking. Old fool, you cling to ghost stories. What empire has ever feared a myth? Humans are dust. If they ever lived, they are long gone. The laughter returned, louder this time, filling the chamber like thunder. But outside, far beyond their borders, something stirred. The alien fleet commanders met soon after, still laughing. Their scouts had brought strange news. Signals at the edge of their space. Unclear, distorted, unlike any code they knew. At first, they believed it to be pirates, or broken machines drifting in the void. One commander slammed his clawed hand on the table. Another false alarm. Do not waste our time. But the younger officers whispered to one another. The signal is strong. It moves with purpose. Then perhaps it is another empire testing our borders. No empire would dare. Perhaps it is the ghosts? That last word made many laugh again, but not all. In the darkness of space, the signals grew closer. At first, they were faint shadows, like echoes across the void. Then one by one, massive shapes appeared on the sensors. Silent, cold, waiting. The alien scanners reached out to measure them, but what they found made no sense. The ships were vast, their hulls scarred by old battles, yet their power was unreadable. They did not broadcast codes of peace, they did not send threats. They simply were. Alien voices broke into confusion. They carry weapons we do not understand. Their armor is thicker than our strongest warships. They are ancient, but alive. Still, the commanders laughed, their pride blinding them. Relics, ghost ships, rusting metal that dares to wander into our space. We will crush them as we always do. But deep inside, in the hearts of the soldiers, unease grew. Myths whispered in barracks now came to life. Could it be true? Back in the alien capital, the council continued their feast. They raised their glasses again. To the death of myths, one shouted. To the weakness of humans, another cried. They laughed so hard their voices shook the walls. But then, an alarm rang through the city. A red light flashed above the chamber doors. The laughter faded, replaced by confusion. A guard entered, face pale. His voice trembled. My lords, our fleet's at the border. They report strange vessels, unknown origin, massive, silent. The council broke into loud argument. Pirates? Impossible. Another empire? No one would dare. The elder, the one who had warned before, stood slowly. His voice cut through the noise. It is them. The chamber froze. Every eye turned to him. The humans, he whispered. The myths you mocked, they are here. For a heartbeat, silence ruled the room. Then one of the younger counselors forced a laugh. Nonsense. It is a trick. Send the fleet. Show these shadows the power of our empire. The council roared. In approval, But behind their eyes, fear had taken root. At the borders, the alien fleets moved into formation, dozens of warships shining like daggers in the black. They powered their weapons, ready to strike. The unknown ships drifted closer, still silent, still waiting. A commander gave the order. Broadcast one last warning. The message went out, into the void. You have entered forbidden space. Identify yourselves or be destroyed. The ships did not answer. Instead, their silent presence pressed heavier on every alien heart. The soldiers whispered nervously. They do not fear us. They do not speak. Why are they here? The commander growled. They are nothing. Fire when ready. But before the first shot was launched, one young officer stared at the screen, his voice breaking. Sir, look at their hulls. Look at the markings. They are not new. They are old. Older than our empire. And they bear a name we swore was only legend. The screen zoomed in, revealing broken paint, scarred but still clear. The letters were strange, but every translation read the same word: humanity. The alien fleets gathered at the edge of their empire. Warships, cruisers, and carriers stood like a wall of iron, their weapons ready, their commanders confident. For centuries, these fleets had crushed every rival. No empire dared challenge them. But tonight was different. Their sensors had detected shapes in the void, strange shapes. Too large to be normal, too silent to be ordinary. At first, the commanders dismissed it. They believed the ships were broken relics or pirate junk. Yet as time passed, the shadows grew sharper. One commander leaned over his screen, his voice uneasy. These vessels are not drifting, they move with purpose. Another laughed, though his laughter carried no joy. Old machines pretending to be predators. We will erase them before dawn. Still, whispers spread across the fleet. Soldiers spoke in low voices, afraid the void itself might hear. They are not like any ships we know. Why do they not answer our calls? What kind of silence is this? In the darkness of space, the unknown ships drifted closer. They did not fire. They did not speak. They only watched. Their hulls bore scars, as if they had fought endless wars. Craters and burns marked their steel, but the ships remained whole, strong, eternal. Alien scanners searched for weaknesses, but what they found made no sense. The armor was thicker than anything seen in the galaxy. Their weapons could not be measured. Some systems gave off readings that defied science. They should not exist, one officer whispered. They are older than our empire. The commander roared at him. Silence. They are tricks. We will show them who rules the stars. But even as he spoke, his own claws trembled. Back in the alien capital, the council chamber burned with arguments. Reports of the strange ships reached their ears every hour. One voice shouted, "It is nothing but pirates!" Another screamed, "No pirate could build ships of that size." The elder who had spoken before stood once more. His eyes were dark, with fear. You laugh at old stories, but these ships are no joke. Their markings are ancient. Their scars are from wars not written in our books. These are not pirates. These are not ghosts. These are humans. The council erupted in chaos. Some demanded proof. Others called for silence. But one fact could not be denied. Every fleet that saw those shadows reported the same word etched into steel humanity. At the border, alien fleets moved into attack position, thousands of cannons locked onto the silent shadows. Send them one final warning, the commander ordered. The message raced across the void. You are in forbidden space. Identify yourselves, or we will destroy you. For long minutes, no reply came. The alien crews stared into the dark. Sweat dripped. Fear spread. Then, the ships moved, not fast, not aggressive, but deliberate, like predators circling prey. Their massive hulls glided into formation, not chaotic, but perfect. Silent discipline. Alien officers gasped. They move, like one mind. This is no wreckage, this is no accident. One soldier whispered the word no one wanted to hear. Humans. The commander slammed his fist. Fire upon them. End this joke. But just before the order was carried out, the enemy ships did something no one expected. They lit their hulls. Ancient lights burned across the steel, forming symbols no alien could mistake. Flags of a lost race. Names of ships long whispered, in legend, and at the very center of the formation, a ship larger than all the others turned slowly to face the alien fleet. Its scarred hull gleamed with one word written in bold, defiant letters: Terran. Panic tore through the alien crews. Soldiers shouted, officers froze, commanders doubted their pride for the first time. One voice echoed on every ship. They are real. The humans have returned. Yet pride is a dangerous poison. The fleet commander roared. Do not falter. They are relics of the past. Fire all weapons. Cannons charged, plasma flared, missiles locked. But deep inside, every alien heart trembled. Because in the shadows of the border, the myths they had mocked now waited in silence. And silence, they realized too late, was the sound of judgment. The order was given. Alien fleets lit up the void with fire. Plasma bolts, missile swarms, beams of raw energy. All screamed across the darkness toward the silent formation of human warships. The galaxy had seen these weapons tear apart entire empires. Stars themselves seemed to tremble at their fury. The alien soldiers cheered, their fear hidden behind the storm of fire. Their commanders smirked, certain the myths would burn in seconds. But when the fire cleared, the human ship still floated there, untouched, silent, waiting. Not a single scar was added to their already ancient hulls. Every blast had missed, deflected, or simply disappeared against their shields. The cheers died in the throats of the alien crews. Whispers spread like infection. They did not even move. Not one of our weapons touched them. What are they? The alien commander shouted to his crews, voice sharp with desperation. Charge weapons again. Double power. Crush them this time. The second wave launched, 10 times stronger, faster, brighter. Entire suns could have been shattered by such power, but again the human ships remained untouched. This time they moved. Not hurried, not frantic, slow, cold, precise. The largest ship turned first. Its cannons glowed, but not with alien light. Its glow was darker, heavier, a color that carried weight even across the void. The air on alien ships grew thin. The hearts of soldiers froze. Then it fired. The shot was silent. No roar, no flash. Just a streak of light, thin and sharp, cutting across space like a knife. One alien cruiser vanished instantly, not broken, not burning, gone. Erased from existence, like it had never been built. Screams filled the alien fleets. The human ship fired again. Another alien warship vanished. Then another. The aliens tried to regroup, tried to scatter, tried to hide in formation. But every movement was predicted, every dodge meaningless. The human weapons were too precise, too fast, too merciless. It was not war. It was execution. Inside one alien flagship, the crew panicked. Officers shouted, alarms blared, fires spread. Across the deck, they are targeting squadrons one by one. We cannot escape their lock. Our shields are useless. The commander slammed his fist on the control table, his pride bleeding into rage. No, we are stronger. Fire everything. The flagship unleashed its arsenal, pouring all firepower onto the largest human ship. The void lit with fury, brighter than a sun. When the light faded, the human ship was still there, silent, watching, and then it answered. This time, the shot was not thin. It was massive. A storm of fire erupted from the Terran flagship, tearing across the void. Dozens of alien ships evaporated in seconds. Carriers split open like fragile shells. Cruisers broke apart before their captains could scream. Battleships crumbled like dust. The alien commander froze, his voice broken. This is not possible. But his crew already knew the truth. The myths were not myths. The humans had returned. Across the alien fleets, soldiers abandoned their posts. Some fell to their knees, praying to false gods. Others screamed, demanding retreat. Pull back, we cannot win. They are not an enemy. They are a storm. But retreat was impossible. The human ships advanced slowly, crushing everything before them. Not rushing, not wasting energy. Every shot was chosen, every target erased without effort. The silence between shots was worse than the destruction. Silence meant they were watching, choosing, deciding who would die next. In the alien capital, the council watched the battle through trembling screens. Their laughter from earlier seemed like madness now. Their smug arrogance had melted into terror. One counselor wept openly. They were never gone. Another whispered, voice cracked. They waited. They watched us laugh. And now, they return. The elder who had warned them all along stood in silence. His eyes did not show victory, only dread. "Do you see now?" he said. "They were not myths. They were warnings, and we did not listen." On the battlefield, the alien flagship tried one last desperate move. Its engines roared, breaking away, from formation fleeing into the void. For a moment it seemed escape was possible. The crew cheered in false hope. Then a single human ship broke formation and followed. It did not rush. It did not chase. It simply appeared behind them, faster than logic allowed. The alien commanders stared at the screen in disbelief. They are playing with us. The human ship fired once. The alien flagship exploded, its wreckage scattered into the black. Silence returned to the battlefield. The human ships drifted closer to the border. Their weapons cooled. Their hulls glowed faintly with ancient lights, and still they said nothing. But in that silence, the galaxy understood a truth sharper than any blade. Humanity did not return as prey. They returned as the storm. The battlefield had fallen silent. Where once thousands of alien warships had stood proud, now only wreckage drifted. Twisted metal spun slowly through the void, glowing red from the last fire of battle. Whole fleets vanished, entire squadrons erased, and in their place, the human warships stood like steel mountains, silent, still, watching. The survivors among the aliens trembled in their shattered ships. Their voices were broken, filled with fear. They did not even fight us as equals. It was like striking at gods. No, worse. Gods might show mercy. They did not. Then, for the first time since their arrival, the humans broke their silence. It began as a whisper. Not sound, but vibration. Every alien screen flickered, every speaker crackled. Symbols appeared in codes no one understood. Then the vibration turned to words, not alien words, not the old tongue of the council, but a voice, a human voice. Calm, cold, heavy. "You mocked us." The survivors froze. The voice was deep, each syllable carrying the weight of centuries. "You erased our name from your records. You turned us into stories to amuse your children. You thought we were gone." The aliens shook where they stood. Some covered their ears, but the voice was not sound. It was inside their minds, inside their ships, inside their hearts. But we did not vanish. We waited. The human flagship lit its hull again. Ancient symbols glowed across the steel. Words that had been etched into legends united Terran fleet. The alien commanders, broken and desperate, shouted at their crews. "Shut it off. Block the signal." But nothing worked. The voice filled every corner of their systems. You believed we were dust. You believed our cities had turned to ash. You believed we were too weak to return. The pause that followed was colder than the words. The aliens prayed the message would end there. But it did not. You were wrong. The voice grew louder now, carrying like thunder. "We watched as your empires rose. We watched as you mocked our history. We watched as you claimed the stars for yourselves, all while whispering our name like a myth." The survivors wept. Their myths had become truth. The human voice continued, "We are not myth. We are not memory. We are the storm you feared but forgot." And then, the most chilling words of all, "We have returned." Across the galaxy, the broadcast spread. Every colony, every empire, every outpost heard it. Screens went black. Voices died. And then, the human message echoed into every world. Alien. Merchants dropped their goods trembling. Soldiers dropped their weapons. Leaders froze in their palaces. Children asked their parents, "Who are the humans?" And the parents, pale with fear, whispered, "The ones we were told never to anger." Back at the alien border, the survivors of the fleet begged for mercy. Broken ships sent desperate signals. "We surrender. Spare us. Please, we yield." But the humans gave no answer. Their ships remained silent again, weapons ready, shadows of judgment hanging over every survivor. At last, the voice returned, calmer, quieter, but sharper than any blade. "You mocked the legends, now you live them." The alien commander fell, to his knees. His pride was gone, his empire shattered. He whispered only one thing before silence claimed him. "They are not just warriors. They are the end." In the alien capital, the council sat in stunned silence. The broadcast had reached them as well. Their arrogance, their laughter, their mocking words now felt like the cries of fools. One counselor, shaking, asked the elder, "What do we do? How can we survive this?" The elder's voice was like stone. "You do not command storms. You only endure them. And if humanity has returned as a storm, the galaxy must prepare to bow." But even as fear spread, one truth became clear to all. Humanity had not come back to beg for space. They had come to reclaim it. The galaxy had gone silent. Where markets once rang with trade, now only whispers moved between merchants. Where armies once boasted of strength, now commanders sat in cold fear. Where the alien council had once laughed, now they shivered in shame. We humans had returned, and their return was not forgotten by anyone. Across distant stars, survivors carried the tale. The ships that lived through the massacre limped back to their home systems. Scarred, broken, filled with terrified crews, they spread the same story. They did not fight like us. They destroyed without effort. They are not myth. They are judgment. Whole worlds listened. Whole empires trembled. The name humanity, once spoken as a joke, now echoed like thunder across the stars. On one border world, children gathered around the elder of their village. They asked with wide eyes, "Who are the humans?" The elder closed his eyes and whispered, "They were the race that made even empires bleed. They were the warriors of steel and fire. We were told they were gone. But the galaxy lied." The children shivered because now they understood. The bedtime monsters were real. In the alien capital, the council chamber was dark. No more laughter, no more mocking voices. Instead, every seat carried the heavy weight of silence. One counselor spoke at last, his voice broken. "Our fleets are ashes. Our pride is dust. What do we do now?" Another answered with a whisper, "We wait, and hope they do not come here." But the elder shook his head slowly. His voice was calm, but every word cut like a blade. "No, they will come, not because they hunger for war, but because they bring truth." The galaxy laughed at their myths. Now the galaxy will kneel to their reality. Meanwhile, the human warships still stood at the border. They had not moved deeper, not yet. They did not rush to conquer. They only waited. This was not invasion. It was a warning. The message was clear. Humanity had returned, and the galaxy would remember. Among the aliens, fear turned to legend. Poets whispered that the humans were not soldiers but storms in steel skin. Priests called them ghosts of vengeance, sent by the stars themselves. But soldiers who had seen the battle with their own eyes, spoke with trembling voices. They are not ghosts. They are not gods. They are worse. They are humans. And they are angry. Across the stars, leaders met in secret. Empires that had hated each other now sat together in fear. We must unite against them. One leader demanded. No, another replied. If we fight, we die faster. Then what choice is left? To remember the myths and obey them. Back in the void, aboard the Terran flagship, the crew remained silent. Their weapons cooled, their engines dimmed, but their presence filled the galaxy with terror. One final message broadcast from their ship. Short, sharp, unforgettable. Mock the legends at your peril. And then, the human fleet turned. They did not vanish. They did not retreat. They simply moved away deeper into the black, leaving wreckage and silence behind. But their departure was not mercy. It was promise. The galaxy now lived with the truth. Humanity had not been destroyed. They had endured. They had grown stronger. And when they returned, they carried the fury of centuries. From that day forward, every empire remembered the border battle. Every council meeting began with silence in fear of human ears listening. Every child grew up learning one lesson whispered in the shadows. Do not laugh at humans. Do not mock their myths, because they are not myths anymore. And so the galaxy remembered, not because they wanted to, but because humanity made sure they would never forget.